This is part 5 of the Ali Carter story. If you ain't caught up yet, stop what you're doing. Go hit that playlist link on your screen or slide down to the description. This ain't the place to be lost because we're building a full timeline. You don't want to miss the beginning or that one part you skipped. But if you already know the game, if you've been following this saga from the jump, then let's begin, because this part right here, this ain't just about Diddy's behavior. This ain't just about Cassie or Kid Cudi or the freakoffs or the tunnels or them strange late night mansion visits. Nah, this right here is about organized power, because when the feds pull out that RICO card, they're not chasing one man, they're hunting a whole network. And Diddy, he might just be the key that unlocks the entire industry. Let's break it down. Part 5A, the RICO trap. Why the feds want Diddy, not just for what he did, but who he ran with. This ain't just about Diddy's behavior. This ain't just about Cassie or Kid Cudi or the freakoffs or the tunnels or the late night mansion visits. This is about organized power, because when the feds roll up with RICO charges, they ain't chasing one man. They're chasing a network. Let me break this down in street terms, because the government don't move like bloggers. They ain't posting clips. They ain't reacting for likes. They build cases slow, quiet, and deadly. RICO don't care if you're a superstar. If they think you run an organization involved in crime, whether it's sex trafficking, drugs, fraud, extortion, intimidation, they coming for the whole team. And here's why Diddy's on the menu. He didn't just throw parties, he funded them. He didn't just pull up, he booked the jets. He didn't just let things happen, he arranged what went down. You start hearing the same people at those parties, the same bodyguards, the same assistants, the same lawyers protecting everybody. That's structure. And structure is what turns a scandal into a criminal enterprise. Now let's connect the dots. They're not just looking at Diddy's lawsuits, they're looking at who moved the girls, who handled the money, who signed the contracts, who booked the hotels, who threatened people afterward. That's how RICO works. Even if Diddy ain't do everything personally, if he ordered it, funded it, or covered it up, he's liable. This goes deeper than sex allegations. There's talk of shell companies laundering hush money, nonprofits used to funnel cash, surveillance setups inside mansions, influencing police reports and hospital records. You think it's random that every time someone tried to report what happened, nothing stuck? That's not luck. That's control. And RICO was designed for situations like that, when a powerful person uses others to do their dirty work. They've been watching. Don't let the lawsuits fool you. Civil cases are just the appetizer. The feds move when it's airtight. That's why there's rumors of sealed indictments, grand juries in motion, confidential informants flipping, people testifying behind closed doors. And guess what? Some of the lawsuits line up too clean for it to be coincidence. Same dates, same cities, same private jet itineraries, same group of security and assistants present. That's a blueprint for conspiracy. And here's the crazy part. This ain't just about who Diddy hurt. It's about who he protected. Who else was in those rooms? What politicians, what executives, what A-listers? Because if he flips, it could bring down a whole industry. That's why people look nervous. That's why folks distancing themselves. That's why Jay-Z called up Alex Spiro. That's why the silence from celebs is louder than the noise. They don't know how far this gonna go, but the feds do. And just like the streets say, if one fall, we all fall. Except this time, it ain't the crew from around the way. It's billionaires, brands, and boards of directors.
A lot's about to come out. Another arrest is coming again. Watch for those fires. Explosions make fires too. Explosions make accidental fires too, and then oops, we don't know how that happened, and then you look into it and you see that it's tied to something that's tied to something that's tied to something that's tied to trafficking, and then you realize, oh, it wasn't just an explosion or a fire, it wasn't an accident.
Why the feds want Diddy? Not just for what he did, but who he ran with. This ain't just about Diddy's behavior. This ain't just about Cassie or Kid Cudi or the freakoffs or the tunnels, or the late night mansion visits. This is about organized power. Because when the feds roll up with RICO charges, They ain't chasing one man, they're chasing a network. Let me break this down in street terms, because the government don't move like bloggers. They ain't posting clips. They ain't reacting for likes. They build cases slow, quiet, and deadly. RICO don't care if you're a superstar. If they think you run an organization involved in crime, whether it's sex trafficking, drugs, fraud, extortion, intimidation, they coming for the whole team. And here's why Diddy's on the menu. He didn't just throw parties. He funded them. He didn't just pull up. He booked the jets. He didn't just let things happen. He arranged what went down. You start hearing the same people at those parties, the same bodyguards, the same assistants, the same lawyers protecting everybody on that structure. And structure is what turns a scandal into a criminal enterprise. Now let's connect the dots. They not just looking at Diddy's lawsuits. They looking at who moved the girls, who handled the money, who signed the contracts, who booked the hotels, who threatened people afterward. That's how RICO works. Even if Diddy ain't do everything personally, if he ordered it, funded it, or covered it up, he's liable. This goes deeper than sex allegations. There's talk of shell companies laundering hush money, nonprofits used to funnel cash, surveillance setups inside mansions, influencing police reports and hospital records. You think it's random that every time someone tried to report, what happened? Nothing stuck? That's not luck, that's control. And RICO was designed for situations like that. When a powerful person uses others to do their dirty work. They've been watching. Don't let the lawsuits fool you. Civil cases are just the appetizer. The feds move when it's airtight. That's why there's rumors of sealed indictments, grand juries in motion, confidential informants flipping, people testifying behind closed doors. And guess what? Some of the lawsuits line up too clean for it to be coincidence. Same dates, same cities, same private jet itineraries, same group of security and assistants present. That's a blueprint for conspiracy. And here's the crazy part. This ain't just about who Diddy hurt. It's about who he protected. Who else was in those rooms? What politicians, what executives, what A-listers? Because if he flips, it could bring down a whole industry. That's why people look nervous. That's why folks distancing themselves. That's why Jay-Z called up Alex Spiro. That's why the silence from celebs is louder than the noise. They don't know how far this gonna go, but the feds do. And just like the streets say, if one fall, we all fall. Except this time, it ain't the crew from around the way. It's billionaires, brands, and boards of directors.
How many things does it take? If people can get in the streets over a convict, why the hell can't people get in the streets over the children? What is going to fuel your rage for the children? Why are you waiting on a release to fuel your rage? People should be like, what the? We're talking about kids? Huh? What? No! Somebody better answer something. How many more kids do you need? How many more need to be swept under the rug? How many more need to be silenced for you to say, oh, enough? It's all of our war. So what are you gonna do to fight?
The evidence they're hiding and what's already been leaked. Now listen, when the feds get involved, they don't show their whole hand. They move like chess players, quiet, strategic, deadly. And while the public only sees bits and pieces, the real evidence, it's stacking behind the scenes like crates in a warehouse. But here's the part they didn't plan for. Some of it already leaked. And once it's out in the wild, you can't put the genie back in the bottle. Let's start with the paper trail. Travel records, private jet logs, same girls, same crew, same cities, over and over, hotel check-ins, different names, same dates, same credit cards, payments, thousands wired to consultants and choreographers. But the girls say they never dance, so who was really getting paid? Then you got the video evidence. Yeah, they tried to scrub it. But the internet got memory like an elephant. Old party footage resurfaced. Clips showing minors in settings they had no business being in. Audio of screaming in the background. Videos that look like fun until you slow it down and see the fear in people's faces. And then the real shocker, multiple sources claim there's a vault of surveillance tapes from private estates, hidden cams in party houses, footage used to blackmail people who got out of line. And that vault might already be in the wrong hands. Let's talk emails and texts. That's the digital gold mine. Messages like, make sure she signs the NDA before she leaves. Pay the driver extra. He saw too much. Get her a room on the lower floor. No cameras. Tell him to shut up or the video drops. These ain't just shady. These are evidence of intent. And once prosecutors get that intent, it's game over. Now let's not forget the witness accounts. Some are anonymous, some are in the lawsuits, some already testified behind closed doors, and their stories match too closely for it to be fake. We talking word for word same patterns. Girls recruited at parties, given drinks, waking up confused, being threatened, being filmed, being told, you asked for this, different victims, same methods, same names. And then there's what's not leaked yet. Photos, confidential voice memos, private medical records from hospital visits after parties, therapist notes from survivors who kept silent for years. That's the stuff the prosecutors holding like aces. They ain't gotta show it now, but once it's time for trial, boom, they gonna flood the courtroom with receipts nobody saw coming. But here's the craziest part, Mike. Even with all that evidence, some folks still try to spin it. They say he's innocent until proven guilty. It's all just lawsuit. Why now? Where's the proof? The proof is already here. It's in the patents, in the documents, in the videos, in the testimonies, and in the silence of the people who know it's true but won't say a word. We not talking rumors no more. We talking receipts. And the more this case unfolds, the more that hidden evidence gon' spill.
I'm nervous for you. Oh, woo! A lot of people should be so nervous right now because I'm about to get some people. I'm so, if any of my children come into this live, it should be at school. But if you listen to this live later, please excuse the language that Miss Allie is about to use. I use some sentence enhancers. Miss Allie hot. I don't even have a bonnet off, okay? I don't even have a freaking bonnet off. 1 second. My heater's on in here. Thank you, Courtney. God bless you. Thank you. Because I'm about to come a little bit more forward. I'm about to into the forward. We're about to go all the way now because I am so hot. Okay? Just waiting for a few more people because apparently a few more people need to make sure they get this memo. Oh, people get on my nerves. You know, here's the deal.
Wow, that's crazy.
This is crazy. I try so hard to give people the benefit of the doubt. I'm just going to start now, okay? So please, if this is not towards you, don't take this in a negative way. But if the shoe fits, please lace that bitch up and wear it because I'm just at that point where I'm annoyed. I'm so annoyed because I really, really try with people. I really try. Who I am, I shouldn't. If you have noticed about me, I shouldn't try. I shouldn't give anybody the benefit of the doubt. I should be at the point where I should say screw everybody, right? I should be at the point where I'm ready to fight everybody, right? I should be at the point where everybody has no pass with me until you are proven guilty, right? But I don't do that. I still have a sense of moral. I still have a sense of value. I still be giving people the benefit of the doubt, and then somebody fucks it up just like they did right now, and then I'm about to let you know how that goes. Excuse me, I am so sorry, but I am so mad.
Part 5. D. How celebrities keep getting away and why this time might be different. Now this one gonna hit hard because we all done seen it before. Big star, big accusations, big distractions, and then poof, nothing happens. PR kicks in, fans forgive, the headlines fade. So how do they keep getting away with it? Let's break down the blueprint. Step 1, the fame shield. Fame ain't just money, it's armor. When you're a celebrity, people assume he'd never do that. He's too rich, too powerful, too connected. It's like their image becomes a force field, and folks will defend that image harder than they defend the truth. Why? Because people don't just love the celeb, they love what the celeb represents. They don't want to believe their hero is a monster. Step 2, the spin machine. The moment the heat turns up, the PR machine kicks in like clockwork. They're just trying to bring a black man down. It's cancel culture going too far. She just wants money. That's old news. Let's focus on the music. Boom. Now people confused. Now the narrative is muddy. Now the victim looks like the villain. And before you know it, nobody knows who to believe. Step 3, legal delays and distractions. This part is strategic. Delay the court dates, tie up the civil suits, file countersuits, make it drag on so long that the public gets tired and moves on. Meanwhile, drop a new album, announce a charity move, do a podcast interview with some soft questions. Rebrand as a man who's healing. By the time the trial hits, people ain't even paying attention no more. Step 4, buy the silence. This is the dirtiest play in the game, but also the most effective. NDA, settlement, gag order, private check written behind closed doors. The victim never gets justice. They just get a bag and a warning. This goes away now, or it'll cost you everything. And most times, they take the money because healing is expensive, and the court of public opinion is brutal. But here's the twist. This time might be different. Here's why. 1, too many voices at once. This ain't one person accusing Diddy. This is a chorus. Cassie, Gene Deal, Kid Cudi, Ali Carter, background dancers, assistants, witnesses, makeup artists, producers, different races, different eras, same patterns. That's hard to spin. 2, the internet won't let it die. We in the era of receipts, screenshots, archived videos, clip compilations, threads with 50 sources, TikToks breaking it all down in 30 seconds. The machine can't keep up. Every time they try to bury it, it goes more viral, and that's power they never planned for. 3, people done seen too much. The culture has changed. Folks ain't looking the other way no more. They not just asking, did it happen? They asking, who helped him? Who covered it up? Who's next? And when the public starts looking sideways at the enablers too, that's when the industry starts to crumble. 4, the feds are involved. Now this ain't just a blog war or a civil case, it's federal, it's organized, it's deep. And when the feds in your business, ain't no PR firm saving you, ain't no hit song distracting them, ain't no NDA sealing that cell door shut. So yeah, celebrities been getting away with it for years. They built a system for it, but now that system cracks. And Diddy's case might be the one that brings the whole thing crashing down.
I'm still laughing though. I'm still laughing. I'm still laughing. So, are we ready?
Love that. Love that.
16? How many got on here? This
love that you're still laughing.
Because, we posted it. We posted it. Here's the deal. Last night, at 10, 11 o'clock at night, see, we left our house at 4 o'clock p.m. It's no mistake, it's no difference that we deal with shit nonstop. Okay, I go to work. You guys know me on Instagram as a dance choreographer. Did you know that every day that I came into work with a threat? Did you know that every day that I came to work being ran off the road? Did you know that every day that I come to work, I have a threat on my head, and I make sure that before I come into work, I take the longest way possible, okay? When I go home, I don't take the same way, okay? When I get to work, I make sure that everybody is safe. Okay? And if that means that I gotta lay my ass down on the line to make sure that everybody is safe, that's what I do because it's my life. Do you want to know why? You want to know why? See, before I didn't say nothing to nobody. Why? Because a lot of people don't want to get it. A lot of people don't want to get it. Nobody wants to hear the child. Nobody wants to hear the person that's talking to you. You guys want to get defensive and defend somebody who somebody's trying to tell you something about.
The room was a trap. Uncle Mike breaks down Ali Carter's story. Yo, let me take you all back. I was down there and standing in the middle of all this madness, feet on the pavement outside that courthouse. The tension was thick, like the city itself was holding its breath. And in the middle of that stillness, boom, something hit. Not a literal explosion, nah, but it felt like the earth shifted under our feet. A deep vibration, like when you standing too close to a subway tunnel and a train come flying by. Except this time, it wasn't steel wheels. It was truth. Big, ugly, unfiltered truth starting to break through the cracks. And the earthquake? That was Ali Carter. Now listen, when people hear that name, they either roll their eyes or lean in. But you gonna wanna lean in? Cause what she came with ain't no internet gossip. This ain't a trending tweet. It's deeper than tea. It's trauma. And if what she's saying is even halfway real, then we ain't talking about no scandal. We talking about a system. Ali Carter said she was young, real young, when this all started. Just a bright-eyed girl thinking she was heading into a celebrity dream. You know, maybe catch a glimpse of someone from the big screen, take a flick, live out a story she could post about for years. But what she walked into was a machine, a setup, something built to break girls like her. She thought it was a party, but it wasn't. Let me paint it for you. Big ass house with lights so soft, they make everything feel like a dream. Velvet ropes sectioning all VIP areas that ain't even on the blueprint. Rooms with no doors, just curtains. Security everywhere, but not to protect you. Nah, they there to make sure you don't leave. Music, thumping low, not loud, not fun, just rhythmic, like a heartbeat, but not yours. You feel like you walked into someone else's body, someone else's nightmare. And Ali? She walked through that front door thinking she was about to live. Instead, she got trapped. She said the vibe changed as soon as she stepped in. Ain't no welcome. Ain't no make yourself at home. Just eyes. Cold, measured eyes watching her every move. Celebrities lounging on plush couches, but they ain't chilling. They observing, calculating like predators. And then there's the rooms. Ali talked about these VIP sections, right? But they wasn't for popping bottles or showing off chains. These rooms, they was designed for access to people, to kids. She said there were little girls, young, real young, hand-picked, dressed up like they belong in a music video, but they ain't there to dance. Nah, they there for something much darker. She said there were babies. You hear me? Babies. Some of them didn't even speak English. Some of them was already sick, like they had been through things no child should ever survive. Ali said she saw a shipment come in like it was nothing, like it was furniture. And in these rooms, there wasn't no sound. You ever been somewhere so quiet, it's loud? That's what she described. The kind of silence that makes your skin crawl. Like the walls know secrets. Like the floor's been crying for years and nobody ever wiped the tears. Ali said there was this one room, black curtains, no lights, the kind of place you feel before you see. She stepped to the edge of it, just curious, right? And what she heard wasn't music, wasn't laughter, it was breathing, fast breathing, whispers in a language she ain't recognized, and then a sharp clap. Like someone just slapped a table or a person. That's when she said she turned around and walked out fast. But the worst part, she said everyone knew. Jay-Z, Naomi Campbell, big names, not just attendees. They were in the game, allegedly, running the plays. She said they had private areas where they could request specific girls, like it was a menu. You hear what I'm saying? Now picture that. You young, you scared, and the same people you grew up admiring, they the ones leaning in, calling shots, acting like you owe them something. And no matter where you stand, it feels like the walls leaning in on you. And you can't tell nobody, because who gonna believe you? These people own the media. They control the narrative. You speak up, you the problem, you the liar. That's how they keep it quiet. But not today. Ally Carter cracked the door open. And even if some folks want to dismiss her, that door's open now. The light is spilling in, and we gonna walk through it.
Okay, but let me break something down for you. No one asked me about the Biden post that my mother or I posted. No one asked. You know what everybody did? You want to know what everybody did? This is what's wrong with our fucked up world. You want to know what everybody did?
It's a throwback.
Everybody took a second to defend who? Joe Biden.
Joe Biden. I can't believe that, man.
No one asked my mother, what the hell are you talking about? No one took the time to check on me and say, if you're going to mention a 14-year-old girl, if you're going to put down 8.5 inch of a, what are you talking about? No one said that. You know what somebody just decided to have the balls and the audacity to say to me this morning is you're a Trump supporter. And to point fingers like that, if you're going to point fingers like that, you should have proof. If you're going to point fingers like that, the man should be in jail. If you're going to point fingers like that, shouldn't we have some source of credibility? Shouldn't we have some source of proof if you're going to say something like that? If I said something like that, don't you think I know what the hell I'm talking about? I post puppies and dance and food. And I just now started telling y'all the truth. And I've been pulling it down for I don't know how long. Okay? If you're not new to my Instagram, you have seen me post up something about trafficking and snatch that shit down in the same second because I was too scared to say something. Now I'm just hot. That 14-year-old girl is me. You want to ask me? Anybody want to ask me? Nobody want to ask, huh? Everybody just want to judge? Nobody took a damn second to say, who's the 14-year-old girl? It's me. Any questions?
The Blackout Party's Darkness by Design. Aight. So let's go even deeper now. Real deep. Because Ally Carter ain't just talking about regular Hollywood mess. Nah, she pulled the curtain back on something surgical. Something that felt like it was built from the ground up to be dark. I'm talking calculated, cold, and custom engineered for silence. She called them all black events. Now, when you first hear that, you might think black tie, high fashion, some bougie theme where everybody flexing in their best. But nah, this wasn't about wardrobe. This was about intent. She said these parties wasn't for everybody, not even for all celebs, only the chosen few. The powerful, the untouchable, the guest list was tighter than a vault. If your name was on it, that meant you knew how to keep secrets, or you had too many of your own to run. Ally said the vibe was off from the jump. No smiles, no red carpets, no fake laughs for the cameras. Matter of fact, no cameras at all. Phones were locked in cases. Bodyguards would pat you down twice. You walked through what looked like a fashion event, but what you really entered was a shadow zone. And it wasn't just the vibe, it was who they brought in. Ally said these parties were centered around young black kids, brought in under the lie of entertainment. Like maybe they were gonna dance or perform, get exposure, or meet someone who could put them on. But what really went down, it was exploitation. straight up predation. She said the energy in the room would shift once those kids arrived. The grown-ups would lean in, whisper to each other, eyes would scan the room, not with kindness, not with curiosity, but with selection, like they were shopping. Some of those kids didn't even speak English. Some had visible medical issues. She said it was like they were chosen to be ignored, like the system knew nobody would miss them. And even if they did, the story would get buried in paperwork or brushed off with a check. Allie described one of these rooms in chilling detail. Black walls, black curtains, even the furniture was matte black. No mirrors, no reflections, just dark. There was no music playing, just low humming, like a generator or an air vent whispering all your fears back to you. She said in that room, the rules didn't exist. And the people, they weren't scared. They were comfortable, like they'd done it before. Like this wasn't a night gone wrong, it was a ritual. Something scheduled, and the worst part, nobody flinched. She said she saw Ashton Kutcher, Demi Moore, standing close to Diddy. Not one of them looked uncomfortable. Not one of them looked surprised. It's like they knew what was going to happen. And that's when Allie realized these weren't parties, they were operations. You feel that? That chill in your spine? That's what she felt. Only she wasn't reading it in a script. She was living it. And when she tried to talk, to warn someone, she got shut down, laughed at, accused of clout chasing. But I'm Uncle Mike. I was down there. I heard the whispers, felt the weight in the air. I brought my camera, my mic, my whole soul into that city, trying to capture the truth. And everything Allie said, it lines up with that uneasy silence I felt in that courtroom hallway. That same cold vibe lingering in the corners of powerful men's eyes. This ain't no fairy tale. This is a system with its own rules and its own victims. She's just the first one who screamed loud enough that we had to listen.
There's an investigation going on Ron Jeremy. Anybody want to ask any questions? Nobody? We got crickets? Can I buy a vowel? I'm ready for the questions. Bring them on. Anybody want to buy? Nobody? Nobody? Y'all got proof. What else do you need? See if others. How many survivors have y'all shut down? Before you delete me and you miss me with your bullshit, and before you make sure that you lose any contact to me, what other child have you shut down? Who else did you decide to silence? Okay, that's what I want to know. What other child came forward and said it was me, but everybody else want to say no, it's not? Who the fuck puts an 8.5 inches down? And I'm not sure. I told you I know sizes. Can I buy a vowel?
VIP sections for predators. What Allie saw behind the curtain. Now listen close, because this right here, this is the part that'll make your skin crawl. Allie Carter ain't just telling us about vibes and energy. She's telling us about rooms, real rooms. VIP sections that had nothing to do with status and everything to do with silence. According to Allie, there were private sections at these parties, cordoned off, dimly lit, velvet roped, but not to protect the rich and famous from fans. No, these sections were created to protect the predators from the public. She said these were traps, not luxuries. At first glance, it looked like your typical A-list setup. Bottle service, couches, private servers. But when you paid attention to what was really happening, that illusion dropped fast. Allie said the people allowed in those sections weren't just stars. They were men with power and girls with none. She talked about how they handpicked the girls. Not women, girls. Young. Some looked barely out of middle school. They were often brought in through the back, avoiding cameras, avoiding questions. Allie says some of the girls didn't even know where they were going. They were just invited to a Hollywood party, but what they got was a cage dressed up like a castle. She named names: Jay-Z, Naomi Campbell, allegedly seated in these sections, watching, sometimes engaging. And listen, we ain't here to point fingers without proof, but we are here to listen when a survivor says the same names keep showing up. Allie said these girls were given drinks they didn't ask for, told to sit beside people they didn't know, promised fame if they behaved, threatened with silence if they didn't. The rooms were too quiet, too controlled. There wasn't any music banging in these areas, just the low thump of a private playlist. Candlelight glow, no harsh lights, no escape. Ally said one time she was placed in a chair in one of these sections, told to sit and look pretty. That was the exact phrase. She was barely a teenager. The man next to her was 3 times her age and 4 times her net worth. She said when she tried to leave, one of the guards blocked her path, smiled, said, "Everything's fine, you're safe here." But safe from what? Not from him, not from them, just from being seen. You see how that works? They create these bubbles where the world can't look in, but the damage is happening in plain sight. It's like a soundproof cage. No one can hear you scream. And if you try, they'll say you're lying. Now picture this. These girls don't come from money. They ain't got PR teams, no lawyers, no one to call. And even if they do, the people in that room got the kind of money that makes problems vanish. This wasn't no one night gone wrong type of story. Allie made it clear. These VIP rooms were part of the blueprint, designed to isolate, to intimidate, to groom. The drinks spiked, the conversations scripted, the photographers kept away. She said some of the girls walked out looking dazed, like they were floating outside their own bodies. Some never came back at all. She didn't know if they went home, went missing, or worse. But she remembered their faces. And remember this, these were kids. Some didn't speak English. Some couldn't fight back. And Allie, as young as she was, said it broke her to see what was happening. But back then, she didn't have the words, just the fear. And now that she does have the words, people say, "Why didn't you speak up sooner?" Man, the world don't understand what it's like to sit in silence because you've seen too much. To walk through life knowing your truth will get laughed at, dismissed, or cost you your life. I'm Uncle Mike, and I'm here to make sure y'all listen, because I believe her. And even if you don't, you need to hear her.
It's amazing what's wrong with our world. It's amazing what is wrong with our fucked up world. Everybody wants to point the finger, but nobody ever wants to ask the person who is trying to tell you the truth. When you find out, I hope some of you get your asses smacked. When you find out, I hope the people who worship this man and told your children to worship this man, you get your ass smacked. I hope that you are in hysterics. I hope that you felt the guilt and the shame. I hope that you know that my friends that have lost their life and are sitting on somebody's water island is because of you. Miss me, block her, lose us. We don't want nothing to do with you. I don't care who you are. I don't care how old you are. It's coming out. It's coming out. You know that video that I posted? I have somebody in the UK editing it right now. It's on the underground tunnels. It's under the Getty Museum in LA. I didn't want to say nothing yet because I could get killed. You know what? Bring it. There is nothing that anybody can try to do to me right now that you haven't already done. You have taken every fucking thing. But what do you want? I'm out. I've been done. But you still at my house. You still in my home. You still bothering my animals. You still opening my door. And you still in my house. But you don't want me.
That's crazy.
Ron Jeremy, Denzel Washington, Beyonce Knowles, Ellen DeGeneres, Whoopi Goldberg, Lady Gaga, Chrissy Teigen, John Legend, Joan Rivers, Rob Saget, do you want me to keep f***ing going? Ask me. Everybody wonder why my smile is so deep. Everybody wonder why my eyes sparkle. Everybody always asks me, why you smiling when you dance? Because you don't understand the shit that I lived through. It's worth it to smile. And I'm still smiling, and I'm gonna continue to smile. And majority of y'all who continue to ask me and gonna tell me that I'm pointing fingers to kiss my natural black ass and miss me with that shit. Bye.
The babies, the buses, and the neighbor. Next door, the witnesses. They didn't count on now this part right here. I almost didn't want to say it. I almost didn't want to believe it. But if we gonna tell the truth, the whole truth, then we can't skip over this next piece of Allie's story. Cause it ain't just about celebrities and VIP rooms. It's about babies. It's about trafficking, and it's about the buses. Allie said she saw things at Diddy's parties that would make a grown man weep. Not because of the glamour, but because of the gut punch that comes with knowing kids were involved. Kids, not teens, not young adults, babies. She claimed these so-called parties sometimes had shipments of children. Yeah, I said that right. Shipments. Like they was moving furniture. And it wasn't just Allie saying this. One of Diddy's own neighbors, a regular dude, someone who just happened to live next door, spoke up. He said, "Man, stop bringing all these minors around here at night. I live right next to you. It's too much." You can hear the frustration in his voice. He talked about buses pulling up. Not one, multiple, late at night. Sometimes 3 a.m. Let me tell y'all something. When buses pull up at 3 a.m. full of kids, it ain't for no dance recital. And the man said, "I just let it be because I don't want to knock on the door." That's fear. That's survival. That's a neighbor who knows something ain't right, but also knows when you mess with a billionaire, you might not make it home for dinner. And what did Allie say she saw when she looked inside? Kids that didn't speak English, kids that were sick, kids that looked like they'd already given up. She said some of them looked like they were dying. She even said there were babies. Babies, y'all. Let that sit. She didn't say this for clicks. She didn't say this with makeup on and music playing in the background. She said this like someone haunted, like the images still crawl in her mind when the lights go out. The buses, according to her, weren't flashy. No logos. No VIP style party buses, just plain looking vans pulled up to the side or back entrances. And once inside, those children weren't seen again by the public. You ever wonder how these Hollywood folks party for years with no leaks, no pictures, no TMZ footage? It's because the worst of it don't happen where the cameras can go. It happens out back, after dark. Allies said one of the most chilling moments was seeing a girl, maybe 14, walk out of one of those VIP rooms alone. She looked dazed, lost. Her dress was twisted like it had been yanked. She had no shoes on. Nobody stopped her. Nobody helped. Security just nodded as she walked past. Now, I ain't saying that's proof of anything, but Allie ain't the only one telling these types of stories. And when regular neighbors start saying the same thing, that's not conspiracy. That's a pattern. And I'll tell you something else. Allie said there was this feeling in the air at every one of those parties. It was thick, like the walls were watching. Like if you said the wrong thing, even to yourself, somebody would hear it. Imagine being 13, standing in the corner of a billionaire's mansion, watching kids younger than you get shuffled around like props in a horror movie, and knowing if you screamed, no one would believe you. This is the kind of truth people don't want to hear, but it's the kind that matters most. You don't gotta believe every single word, but you gotta ask yourself this: why would so many people be scared to say anything if nothing was happening?
I shouldn't have to say something like that for you to be like, "Oh shit, she's probably telling the truth." It is pathetic that people gotta go here. It's pathetic that it's gonna take somebody to say it was me for somebody to understand. Y'all are freaking hilarious. And at this point, I don't give a shit what you gotta say. I know my truth. I know my proof. And if somebody is telling you the size of somebody's, trust me, they know what they're talking about. Any questions?
The game. How they lured, controlled, and broke you down step by step. Now listen, this ain't just about what they did, it's about how they did it. Because Ally Carter didn't just expose the actions, she laid out the playbook. And if you ain't paying attention to the system behind the scenes, you gonna miss the whole point. Ally said, it starts real simple, make you feel chosen. That's step one. You a young girl, fresh to the scene, maybe from out of town. Maybe you just thinking this a chance to meet a star or change your life. You get that invite. Somebody whispers, you special. Then come the lights, the outfits, the glam cars. They gas you up with compliments, champagne, or flattery. And most dangerous of all, promises. You got the look. You belong here. You could be next. Next what? They don't say, but in that moment, you're just grateful to feel seen. That's how it starts. Step 2, isolation. Once you in, you realize you don't really know nobody. Phones are either taken or discouraged. The room's too big, too dim, too cold, and the music's loud enough to drown out a scream, but never loud enough to feel like a party. It's a trap disguised as a vibe. And then the real game begins. They pull you aside. Some handler, some assistant, someone smiling too hard but saying too little. They give you a drink or maybe just a direction. Come with me. Now you're in a different room. The air changes. There's perfume, cologne, but underneath it, something foul. Not quite sweat, not quite fear, but something in between. Like the room itself done seen too much pain. There's a celebrity in there. Somebody you've seen on TV your whole life. And they're calm. Too calm, like this is just another Tuesday. And you freeze. Not because you want to be there, but because part of you still thinks you should feel lucky. That's the sickest part of the game. They make you question your own discomfort. Ally said Diddy and his people didn't just throw parties. They ran plays. This was organized manipulation, down to a science. They knew who to target, how to charm them, how to keep them silent. They offered gifts, trips, clothes, sometimes straight up money. But everything came with an unspoken rule. You owe us now. And when the confusion turns to regret, and the regret turns to fear, that's when step 4 kicks in, silenced by shame. They make you feel like you wanted it, like it was your choice, like it was your fault. And by the time you realize what's really going on, it's too late. Because now you're not just a victim, you're a liability. So you don't speak up. You can't. Who's going to believe you over Diddy, over Ashton Kutcher, over Naomi Campbell, over $1 billion machine? That's how this game works. It don't run on force. It runs on psychology, guilt, fear, shame. And Ally, she broke the code. She told the world, this ain't just about one night or one party. This is about a whole system of silence designed to protect the rich and ruin the vulnerable. She wasn't just exposing moments, she was exposing a method. And the question we all gotta ask is, how many more are still trapped in it right now?
Okay, another thing. How many children you gotta sniff? See, somebody wanted to yell at me, call me a Trump supporter. I have been in political hands. What part don't you understand? Okay? I work in the media, and so many children have asked me, how do you stand next to celebrities and I don't face you? Because I've already met them. It doesn't take a rocket science. You know, everybody wants to, it's amazing because no one knows why they hate Trump. No one. Everybody just knows that everybody else does. It's a trend. Does anybody know
That's facts.
that he's the only man doing something about human trafficking survivors? No president has ever touched it before. Does anybody know that he's provided more jobs for the black community than any president in history? Does anybody know that I don't give a shit, and it doesn't matter about anybody's tax-paying money, but do you know that he's actually brought up bodies, children that have been rescued? I've been posting in my story every day. Do you think that I would have posted something if I didn't know what I was talking about?
The blackout events, secrets, shadows, and the all-black code that no one talks about. Uncle Mike back in the chair. In this next part, brace yourself, because Allie Carter ain't just talking wild. She pulled the curtain back on the blackout events, and it's some of the most disturbing stuff I've ever heard. And I done heard a lot. Now when most folks hear all black, they think elegance, suits, gowns, a dress code, you know, the Met Gala vibe. But nah, what Allie described was way different. This wasn't about fashion. This wasn't about some fancy, exclusive affair with black velvet ropes and chilled champagne. This was a coded event. She said when she first heard about all black, she thought it was just some upscale gathering, maybe a tribute party. But when she walked into that space, the atmosphere hit different. Thick air, no music, no laughter, and definitely no celebration. She said it felt like walking into a funeral, but the kind where you don't know who died yet, and you're afraid it might be you. And here's where it gets heavy. Allie said the real meaning behind the name All Black wasn't about attire. It was about the kids, young black children specifically, being brought in under false pretenses. Some told they were performing, some said they thought it was a modeling gig, others didn't speak English at all. They didn't know what was going on, and worst of all, some of them looked sick, malnourished, confused, broken, and Allie, she ain't no liar, she looked dead in that camera and said, there were babies. Let that sink in. She said the setup at these events was designed to keep people compliant. Big name guests weren't just watching, they were participating. Diddy, Jay-Z, Naomi Campbell, and others she wouldn't even say, out of fear. Yeah, fear, still. She said there were private booths, plush but small, the kind that look luxurious on the outside but locked like cages once you're inside. No phones, no clocks, no windows, just shadows and whispers. And you gotta understand this. Allie wasn't just painting a picture of abuse. She was describing ritual. She talked about roles. Some guests had power, some had assignments, and others like her were seen as fresh stock. The kids, some were lined up, some were kept hidden behind curtains. And the handlers, those were the middlemen dressed in black, moving like ghosts. They made sure the rich stayed entertained. They made sure the silence stayed sealed. Allie said it felt like she was in another world, like some secret layer of society that exists just beneath the surface of fame, where everything looks normal on the outside, but once you inside, nothing makes sense anymore. She said one moment stuck with her forever. A child, maybe 6 or 7 years old, looked her dead in the eye from across the room. No words, no sound, just a stare, wide-eyed, hollow, like the light had been turned off behind them long ago. And Allie swore in that moment she heard nothing. No chatter, no clinking glasses, no footsteps, just silence. A blackout in every sense of the word. She got out that night, but not everyone did. She said she never saw that child again, and that haunts her to this day. These all-black events, they weren't parties. They were staged nightmares, dressed up in luxury, protected by security, and sold to the elite as entertainment. You see, this ain't about clout. This ain't about fame. This is about exposing something monstrous that's been hiding behind Hollywood's smile for decades. You go, girl.
I have just read my mouth. I don't have a line of people who would like me dead because I just talk bullshit. People are hilarious. But do you see Biden sniffing children.
We all know he's made some seriously weird comments in his time, but I may have found one that takes the cake. Have a look.
Yeah. You're good. Let me whisper a secret. AJ, look there. Don't tell mommy what I told you.
Dang.
Yeah, I don't know what to say about that. He sniffs too many children, that man.
This is not something that you see all the time. You don't see him. You don't see the man like getting behind children, and then once he gets behind them, come, get the camera. I need an example. I need an example. Get over here. Get over here. I'm sniffing you. That's not Biden. This is not Biden.
Sniffing children, inappropriate touching, and strange whispering have all come up multiple times throughout his presidency.
Wow,
but
that's
the mainstream
crazy.
media seem to sweep the concerning behaviour under the rug.
Bentley rearranges a young girl's hair and whispers in her ear, then rearranges some more. There's nothing pervy here. The VP knows he's on camera at these swearing-in ceremonies, and the parents are right there as he leans in for a kiss.
Wow. Wow.
These guys,
Wow, that's
Sorry,
crazy.
I'm on camera. It's all right, I'll live. That's Biden?
Wow.
To children? How many videos do you need? You want me to give you a recap of how many videos you need? How many videos you got of Trump? How many videos you got of Trump? The only reason why I support the man is because I personally have never seen the man, but ask me how I feel about Hillary Clinton. Ask me what I've seen about Barack Obama. Ask me what I know about Michelle Obama. Ask me. Anybody gonna ask me?
The neighbor's story. Buses of kids. 3 a.m. arrivals and the house. Nobody dares to visit, all right. Uncle Mike back in it. Now listen, the industry got a habit of hiding its filth behind tall fences and tinted glass. But what they always forget, the neighbors can still see. Ali Carter gave us the inside scoop, the pain from within the parties. But this comes from outside the gate, from folks who lived next to Diddy, folks who seen it all without even trying. Let's set the scene. A calm, upscale neighborhood. Gated homes, fancy cars, perfect lawns. The kind of place you move to when you're trying to forget the chaos of the city. But Diddy's crib, that wasn't peace, that was the eye of the storm. His neighbor stepped out and told the world the truth that had everybody clutching their pearls. He said, man, stop bringing all them minors over here late at night. Let me break that down for you. This wasn't no maybe or I think I saw something. Nah, this neighbor said he saw buses. Not one, not two, buses. Full of kids pulling up in the dead of night, 3 a.m. like clockwork. Now tell me, what kind of party needs buses full of kids at 3 in the morning? Not a birthday party, not a sleepover. Something ain't right. And the neighbor ain't exaggerating. He lives right next door, close enough to hear the music, close enough to hear the screams, if there were any, and close enough to know when something ain't adding up. He said, I'm his neighbor. My basketball go over there. I just let it be. I don't want to knock on that door. Read that again. I just let it be. I don't want to knock on that door. That's fear. That's knowing something's wrong and deciding to stay quiet because you know who you're dealing with. Diddy ain't just another neighbor with a loud stereo. He's the type where if you speak out, you might not sleep well ever again. And that's the crazy part. Think about how many people saw something but stayed quiet. How many neighbors? How many Uber drivers? How many bodyguards, stylists, party planners? People saw the buses, people heard the rumors. But this world we live in, money speaks louder than screams. Fame silences truth. And the industry, it knows how to erase witnesses before they ever step up to the mic. Now here's the twist. That neighbor's confession, that clip, it ain't from some high production documentary or late night interview. It's raw. recorded on the fly. One man telling the truth, probably before he changed his mind. That's real. That's unfiltered. It's a reminder that sometimes the biggest secrets ain't hidden behind curtains. They sitting right out in the open. But folks, too scared to call it what it is. That house Diddy got, it ain't just a mansion. It's a mystery, a machine, a fortress where buses come and go, but the truth struggles to escape. And the saddest part, the neighbors ain't blind. They just scared. And in that fear, they become part of the silence too.
If I'm saying something, trust me, my ass knows what I'm talking about. And trust me, if I'm going to say something, I'm going to back it up. If you follow me, you should, I mean, you probably knew, so you didn't know that by now, but the who addressed me, yes, he's a sorry, I just had to go there because he's a okay? I don't know why he's on my page, but the that addressed me, you mighty stupid. That's the ignorance of being a That's what the word nigga means. It means stupid. That's why we get called niggas all the time, because you act like that. You know that, right? You know that, right? Because not a damn thing that I've done on my Instagram I've never backed up. But you want to question me? I'm just trying to understand. I'm just trying to understand. Let me tell you something. The Biden laptop, when he's sleeping with his 14-year-old nieces, cousins, family, other children, and possibly my name will come up soon. Hunter has a 9-inch. You want to keep going? I'm not gonna keep doing this though, because it comes out of my videos.
The systematic trap, how they pick, break, and bury the young before they speak. All right, sit tight. This ain't easy to hear, but it's the realest thing Uncle Mike ever said. See, when Allie Carter opened her mouth, she didn't just talk about parties. She described a machine, a system, something bigger than one man. These weren't just wild nights gone too far. These were operations, engineered, intentional, methodical, and her setup so slick, even grown folks wouldn't see the trap until it was too late. But this machine, it didn't go after grown folks. It went after kids. Let's break it down. The picking. They ain't out here snatching random folks off the street. Nah, they smart with it. They watch you first. Look for the ones with no mama, no daddy, no team. Or maybe they got parents, but the kind that want the fame more than the child ever did. They target the dreamers, the wide-eyed ones, the pretty faces, the ones who light up a room but don't know yet that light attracts predators too. They look for vulnerability wrapped in hope, and once you in their sights, they dangle opportunity like a carrot, a role, a record deal, a scholarship, a modeling gig. Come to this party, everyone's gonna be there. And when you say yes, that's the first step into the maze, the break-in. You think you walking into a party, music, lights, celebs. But once you inside, everything start feeling off. The room's too dark, the music too loud, strangers staring too hard. Then come the drinks, then come the pills, then come the orders whispered like secrets. Don't worry, just do what he says. It's normal. You're special. This is how it works. You're not at a party anymore. You're in training to shut up, to obey, to lose yourself, and you'd be shocked how quick a young mind breaks when it's isolated, scared, ashamed, when nobody in the room stops it, when everyone acts like it's normal, the burying. And if that kid dares to speak up, they bury him, not in dirt, but in doubt, shame, ridicule. You're crazy. You wanted it. You're jealous. You just mad your career ain't popping. And if that don't work, they use money, gag orders, threats. Take this bag and disappear. One word and your family's next. It's a chokehold so tight you don't even realize you can't breathe. Allie Carter survived the machine. That's why what Allie did, it ain't just brave. It's revolutionary. She stepped out of the machine, she spoke up, and she did it knowing damn well the industry would paint her as crazy, but she ain't. She's a survivor, a whistleblower, a flame in the dark room the machine tried to lock her in. And don't get it twisted. This ain't just about Diddy. It's about a system that's been feeding off young souls for decades. Diddy's just one piece, the visible rot on a much deeper infection. What Ali described, that's human trafficking wrapped in glitter. It's abuse dressed up as opportunity, and it's been going on way too long.
That underground tunnel video that I just did is being edited right now. So here's the thing. We've had someone in our house. We're not stupid. And if we have cameras or mics or anything planned in the house, we're not stupid either. We've done that too. Just a normal day. But what I'm not going to do is I'll be damned if anybody gets to call me a liar and think that's going to be okay. Okay? Okay? All right? Now I'm going to let my mama start talking while I calm my ass down, and then I will get back to talking calmly. Mom?
Part 5, K, the ones who escape, how some survived, and why they won't talk. Now here's where things get strange, family. We done heard about the ones who didn't make it out. The ones who got used, discarded, silenced, or worse, erased like they was never there. But what about the ones who did get out? Ali said they exist. Folks who were deep in it saw it all, felt that cold chill of those mansion walls, but managed to walk away. Problem is, they still ain't talking. And Uncle Mike gonna tell you why. You can survive the room, but not the memory. Ali describes survivors like they ghosts. People who look normal on the outside, smiling in interviews, launching businesses, staying booked and busy, but behind them eyes, they different. Why? Because they survived something unspeakable, not just a party, a system, a ritual, a sacrifice of self. Some of these survivors, young girls, teenage boys, even grown artists, might still be on red carpets. But Ali said if you know what to look for, you can see it in the way they flinch when certain names are mentioned, the way they keep their team too close, the way they avoid certain cities, certain events, certain people. Because that trauma, that don't leave you. Even when the camera's flashing, why they don't talk, the real reason. Look, the internet loves to ask, why ain't more people come forward? Uncle Mike gonna answer that with what Ali said. They ain't talking because it's not safe, and I ain't talking just physically. I'm talking about financially, mentally, spiritually. You think a young R&B singer gonna risk her whole career to name drop someone like Naomi? You think a B-list actor trying to get back on Netflix gonna expose what he saw in one of Diddy's private rooms? Nah, because when you speak, you lose everything. Your team, gone. Your brand deals, gone. Your agent, lawyer, accountant, all been bought already. Ali said some folks tried. They reached out to journalists, they met with lawyers. And then their stories got buried. Their names got dragged. Some even got framed for crimes they didn't commit. Fear is the contract they never signed, but still owe. On Ali said it best. These survivors didn't sign no NDA, but the fear still holds like a contract. They got friends who went missing. They seen bodies turn up in rivers. They heard about fires in random apartments where someone was just about to speak. That ain't paranoia, that's pattern. Some of them still shake when they get a call from an unknown number. Some of them stopped writing music altogether. Why? Because their soul got shook so deep, they're afraid that even their lyrics might say too much. That's why they quiet. Not because they're weak, but because they know what silence costs and what speaking costs more. Ali's role in this now, Ali different. She already been through hell, already lost everything, already faced the worst of it, so now she got nothing left to lose. That's the power of a survivor who finally snaps. But even she got limits. You can hear it when she talks. That pause in her voice before naming certain people. That hesitation before she describes the setup in too much detail. Even Allie knows the eyes watching her. Even she knows this world got ears in every room and money behind every shadow. Uncle Mike's words to the quiet ones, to the ones watching from behind burner accounts, to the ones who get out but never heal, to the ones writing in their journal what they too scared to post. Uncle Mike see you. You ain't crazy. You ain't weak. You survived something the world wouldn't even believe if you had it on camera. And if you ever find your moment to speak, speak loud, speak proud, speak for the ones who ain't here no more. Because your silence was survival, but your truth, that's revolution.